Greetings and welcome to the Kitchen Pulpit, and welcome to another episode of African Plants Modern Power Plate, where we explore the African plants and how best we can prepare them in a 21st century modern way that we can enjoy and not be bored by these meals. So today we're going to make hummus from bambara nuts. So instead of using chickpeas, we're going to use bambara nuts. This is jugo beans or nyimo or bambara nuts or round nuts. That's what we're going to use as the main ingredient. These nuts are highly nutritious. They have got 68% carbohydrates, 19% protein, 6.5% fat, making it a very important source of dietary protein, especially for those that would want to try a vegetarian diet. The other ingredients I've got salt for seasoning, and I've got some spices that I'm going to use for seasoning. You can choose, these are optional, especially you can use celery salt or fish spice if you can. I also have got garlic, crushed garlic that I'm going to use, and I've got crushed lemon, that is the lemon juice, and the zest. The zest is the part of the skin on the outer side that one gets when they scrape it off using a grater. And I'm going to use olive oil, extra virgin cold pressed, and I'm going to use tahini. Tahini is basically sesame seeds that have been crushed or pressed or grinded into a paste or a butter. This is runinga. Tahini is made from runinga, from sesame seeds. Runinga is the Shona name for sesame seeds. This is the bambara jugo beans, nyimo beans, round nut bean that has been made into hummus, and the hummus is ready for spreading on your bread or as a dip for your salads. So the basic in this bambara hummus is 1 cup ground bambara nuts that are cooked, 1/2 cup extra virgin olive oil, 2 to 3 tablespoons of tahini, 1 to 2 teaspoons of garlic that is grated, 1 teaspoon of Himalayan salt, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 lemon juice, that is a whole lemon and its juice and the zest that lemon comes with, 2 tablespoons water, that is extra if need be when the blender fails to grind well, and 1 teaspoon cumin seeds. So this is what went into this particular recipe, and you can enjoy it for the love of your health. Spread it onto your bread, dip with some vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, and enjoy the phytochemicals that are in this food, and remembering that bambara nuts are a complete food. Thank you. Greetings and welcome to the Kitchen Pulpit. Today we have got a special recipe that we're going to explore. We're going to make yellow mealie meal butter. In this case, we're going to make use of polenta meal, which we have made into a porridge already. That's the main ingredient into making this yellow mealie butter. This can be substitute for margarine, especially for those that may want a vegan friendly or strict vegetarian friendly dish that is easily prepared at home. You can make use of this particular dish. The good thing about this dish is that the ingredients that we have are total plant-based, and besides that they are high in fiber and they do not have cholesterol, which could raise the risk for cardiovascular diseases, degenerative illnesses, as well as obesity. So the ingredients that we have is the yellow mealie meal butter, yellow mealie meal porridge, which is already prepared, and we have the soy milk that is ready, and kosher salt. In this case, I'm going to use Himalayan crystal rock salt, and we've got soy milk, and we have got coconut oil. So coconut oil, I'm going to use the organic virgin cold pressed coconut oil to get the flavor of the coconut. And I'm also going to make use of extra virgin cold pressed olive oil. Our product is complete, and this is the yellow mealie meal butter, and it's ready. As you can see, it's solid and it's going to solidify more when we put it in the fridge, at least for about 5 minutes depending, or sometimes up to 10 minutes. So you just gauge with your type of fridge that you have how much time you need to put it in, and it will be ready for spreading. But with this one that we have made, it's already ready for spreading, and this is a slice of bread that already we have spreaded the spread onto it, and you can enjoy it. You may need to add a little bit of salt if you taste and you feel that you need to add a little bit of savory into the dish. Thank you. for this particular recipe, for the new fruit punch smoothie, I'm going to make use of 5 strawberries. So I'm going to be removing the stem and cutting my strawberry that I'm going to make use of. And then I'm going to cut my granadilla. Use of the bananas, and I'm going to cut 3 bananas. We have our cut fruit that is ready. We have got the banana that I'm going to put in first. After adding the fruit into the blender, we're going now to add the rest of the other ingredients. So I'm going to put the puree into the blender. That's the puree that I'm putting now into the blender. Then I'm going to add the soy milk powder. That has gone in already. And for sweetener, I'm going to use a little bit of honey, a tablespoon of honey. I'm now going to blend. Our fruit punch is ready. I did not use the molasses for this particular recipe. If we're going to use the molasses, it's going to take out all the rest of the color that the fruit has got here. And then optional, one can add kombucha and also molasses if they want it to have a dark color. Okay. What I have before me is what we have made so far using the knee fruit or the bad plum fruit. What I have with me in this bowl is the knee smoothie fruit punch. What we have in here is the puree of the knee that we have made and the knee water as well. And we have added into it bananas, granadilla, and blended in the blender to come up with a smoothie. And then for garnishing, I put some coconut cream at the end of the bowl and strawberries towards the end as well. And at the center, I've put just a green leaf and sprinkled some coconut, a desiccated coconut. And then in this small tumbler, what we have is knee milkshake. In this milkshake, we also have a little bit of the knee puree, a little bit of the knee water, a little bit of coconut milk and coconut cream as well. Then the last one is just knee fruit punch, and what's in this is knee water, knee puree, granadilla, and a little bit of sweetener for those that may want it to be a bit on the sweeter side. So if you want any of these 3 dishes to be a bit on on the sweeter side, you can add your honey or any sweetener of your preference, and you can even use them as desserts, and you enjoy to your good health. Thank you. We're going to make knee puree. Knee puree is the next that we're going to make from knee water. So apart from just making knee water and throwing away the knees, that would be wasteful, we're going to make something out of the knee that remains, and we're going to make knee puree. Knee puree is basically the skin and the flesh of the fruit. We're not going to remove the skin because the skin is rich in fiber, and just underneath the skin, that's where we find the many nutrients that are beneficial as far as the new fruit is concerned, which include calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Of particular importance, magnesium is good for the brain and also for muscle pains, especially for those that are into exercising. So how do we make the knee puree? To make knee puree, of course, we'll need the knees that have been soaked overnight. Then we need a measuring cup, we need a strainer and another bowl for putting, and we'll also need water. But more importantly, we'll need a blender. A blender is like your modern pestle and mortar, modern duri. So instead of putting this in a duri and pounding it, we're going just to use the blender. And this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to put our soaked knee fruit that has been soaked overnight into the blender. Okay, there it is. And then we're going to add water. I'm going to start by adding 1 cup of water, and then we'll see how the blender is going to take that. If need be, we may need to add a little bit more water. So when working with a blender, one rule of the thumb is that the blender should not run for more than 50 seconds to 60 seconds, depending on the kind of blender that it is. So I'm going to run the blender for the first 50 seconds, and then I'll see the consistency and see if there is a need to run again the blender. So the blender has got selectors here. I'll start by selecting 2. And I'm going to put it on auto, so after 2 it will stop. Okay, so we're starting. Okay, that's the sound of the blender. It's not as friendly. Now I'm going to just check the consistency of the puree to see if it's the right consistency that I would want to have. Otherwise, I may have to redo again and making sure that I don't exceed 50 seconds with the blender so as to increase the lifespan of the blender. Okay, so I'm just going to do it once more. Alright, still selecting on 2, and I'll press auto on this particular blender. So our puree is ready, and I'm going to prepare it so that we can make use of it. I'm going to pour it into a strainer so that we can separate the stone from the flesh and the skin. This is one of the parts that is a bit strenuous, but can be done and it's necessary. So what we have now is the puree. By doing this, I'm separating the seed by stirring in the strainer. I'm separating the seed from the stone, and soon we have new puree in the bowl underneath, and on top we have the seeds and more of the skin. If it becomes too thick, one can add a little bit of more water. This we have to use your own discretion depending on how your blender would have done it. So this new puree can be used in baking. One can make knee muffins. It can be used in porridge. You add it to porridge to give it a chewy taste and also to add on to the fiber. And this will also help especially the fathers that sometimes don't enjoy porridge because it's too runny. So with this it becomes less runny. You can see that it's drying up. It's drying up. Okay. So our new puree is ready. New puree is ready. This is our first consistence of the new puree that we have. I'm just going to show you the consistency. You can see the consistency of how it is like. You can add it to porridge and also to your ingredients when baking. So what then we are left with is more of the puree that won't be as thick as the first one. So I'm just going to add a little bit of more water, trying to gather up all fragments that nothing be lost, a principle that Jesus Christ himself has taught us. He is the master of food preparation principles, and we need to try and gather all fragments that nothing be lost. And that's just what I'm trying to do here, to gather all fragments that nothing be lost. So I'll be stirring, and while I'm doing that, I'll be adding a little bit of water into it. Of course, with the nature of the new fruit, we may not be able to separate everything, but yeah, we've tried here. And it will be good practice to have two separate bins in the kitchen. One where we put things that are not biodegradable, such as plastic papers and other kitchen refuse, and then biodegradable bin. So this is where I'm going to put this in a biodegradable bin, and we're going to put in the compost. The compost can be mature and we can make use of it in the organic garden for the vegetables and the fruit. I'm almost done here. Now the water is becoming more clearer, so this will be the last addition of water that I'm going to put. Okay, so this is our second grade of the new puree, and this is the first grade of our new puree. When you look at the two and compare, you can see that the first grade is more thicker and the second grade is less thicker. I'm just going to put my spoon in. You can see the consistency. This one is more thicker, that's the first grade, and then the second grade is less thicker. Our next stage in utilizing the new fruit is making a fruit punch. A fruit punch is where we use the puree together with some other fruits to make it into a smoothie, or even make it into a more punch of a fruit juice, and I'm going to show you in the next stage.